Hi everyone, I really miss seeing you and talking to you and having English face to face. Before we get started with today's video, let me introduce you to my dog. You've all heard stories about him. This is Oliver. We affectionately call him Ollie the Collie. And then behind the camera, who is doing the video for me, this is my daughter, Carly. You've all heard stories about Carly, all right? And this is about our third attempt now at this video between the dog barking and the phone ringing. So hopefully this one will go live here very soon. And the dog barking. All right, so anyways, we'll meet here on Canvas for the remainder of the school year or until we're allowed to come back. And my plans for the year will be to finish up the literary criticism that we started before we left and then to read Romeo and Juliet. And whether we get that far or not, time will tell. I don't know if we'll get that far or not, but that's pretty much my plans for now. If you need to reach out to me, you have a question that you want to ask me, I have office hours between 1 and 2 every day. If you have a question about what we're doing or a question about what we did in the past or what's to come in the future, if I can answer your question, I'll definitely answer your question. Don't worry about the time. If you think of a question you want to ask me and it's 10 to 2, go ahead and email me that question. I promise if you email me the question, I'll get back to you. Even if it's 2:30 or 3 o'clock, I will still get back to you. If you look on Canvas, this first module is called Staying Connected During the School Closure. It's a link into school, actually. It will give you phone numbers that you can contact, I believe, the guidance counselor, the nurse, or the principal if you have concerns. So that's there for you. And then if you come down here, this is the module that we'll be working out of. Even though right now it says the literary criticism, when it becomes Romeo and Juliet, I'm just going to tack that on to the end over here. So it's all going to stay in one module so it's easy to find. But for now, we're going to do the literary criticism. And if you look at my module, first thing you're going to see there is the welcome letter. That went out to you on Friday. Hopefully you read through it and you see how things are going to work. And then the next thing you're going to see is the calendar. The easiest way to see this, of course, would be to hit the download. It'd be a lot easier to read that way. But what I'll do is post for you 2 weeks at a time of activities that we're going to be doing in class along with due dates. So if you look over here, this is today, this is Monday, and it pretty much tells you what we're going to be doing, an introduction to the course, an introduction to how things are going to work, the platform that I'm going to use, which is Canvas, and what you should be considering for that particular day that we're working on. It has due dates attached to it, so you want to be mindful of the due dates, turning things in as the weeks progress. And then down here is next week. Once we get to like Friday of this week, I will post the next week after the one beginning on Monday of next week. And we'll keep going like that. So you can pretty much see 2 weeks at a glance the entire time that we're doing online learning. All right, so going back to the module again. All right. So the next thing, as you're going through this week, I want you to make sure that you're looking at the historical perspective, please. I handed this out to you in class already, and we talked about it a little bit. It basically talks about the types of questions that you should ask when you're about to write a historical research paper. It gives you an example at the bottom of the paper about if you were reading A Rose for Emily and the types of questions that you could ask if you were reading or you were writing a paper on that particular short story. You don't have to do that. I'm not expecting you to do it. It's just, it gives you an example of the type of questions that you can consider. The next thing I want you to take a look at then would be to preview slides 1 through 9 in Writing a Strong Essay PowerPoint. This talks specifically about how to write a thesis statement. With your thesis statement, you need to be concerned about what it is that your paper is trying to prove and then the 3 types of evidence you're going to use to support that thesis. And if you look in that paper that I'm putting over here on Canvas, you'll see a thesis statement that I came up with that I would use if I was going to write a paper also. And that's what I'm going to do with you guys. I'm going to write a paper as you write a paper, and then you can model your paper off of what I'm doing. So this week we're going to work on the thesis statement. Next week we're going to work on evidence. The following week we'll probably work on how to write your closing. We'll talk about in-text documentation. We'll talk about your introduction. We'll talk about transitions. We'll talk about making a good solid paper that you're going to turn in. So if you've been with me in the past 3 weeks, we've been doing enrichment as we've been going along, and a lot of you have, and you're already at the point where you can turn in your final thesis statement. Some of you also have not. So you want to make sure that those of you who have not done a thesis statement, that you, beginning on Tuesday, if we go to the calendar, which I can't bring back up again, but if we would go to the calendar on Tuesday, now it says, going back over to Canvas, it says preview these slides, and then it talks about a YouTube video that you can look at as well about how to write a thesis statement. They give you 2 different ideas how to do it, but both of them use 3 prongs. So, and that's the direction that I want you to take with this. So you can use both of these examples to write your thesis statement. This one is the actual discussion board. And again, it gives you lots of questions to consider for when you're writing your thesis statement, the direction that you want to take for it. This I put online, I believe, for Tuesday. I think it opens up on Tuesday. And you can submit your answer to the discussion board anytime. The sooner the better. That way I can get back to you with suggestions on how to revise it and edit it so that when you're ready to do your final thesis statement, you can do it at that time. The final cutoff date for the rough draft one, which is this one, which will count for classwork/homework, will be next Monday, which is Monday the 13th. The final draft thesis statement will be due the next Tuesday, which is Tuesday, April 14th. So you want to make sure that you get this in as soon as possible. Don't let it go to the last minute. And if you already have it done, just hold off, waiting for everybody else to catch up to you, and then you'll submit yours on Tuesday of next week. And I think that that date, like I said, is April 14th. I think the cutoff time for these will be 8 p.m. And then if you go further down, right after we finish with your thesis statement, the next thing we'll be talking about is finding support for it. You notice I haven't published it yet, so I just need everybody pretty much to get caught up with me so that we're all working on the same step at the same time. Okay, so that should, I hope, explain pretty much what's going on this week and how the PowerPoint will support you as you're writing this and how that YouTube video will support you as well. Goal is to write a good research paper, historical research paper, piece by piece by piece. Me writing a model of it and you looking at my model as you're writing your own. And then once we're done with this, we're going to go on to Romeo and Juliet. And again, if you need to reach out to me other than through that discussion post, you can do that through my email during my office hours between 1 and 2 o'clock. So that's pretty much it for our first video. Please make sure that you take care of yourself and you take care of the people you love. Make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. Make sure you're washing your hands and drinking lots of water. So for now, I'll see you again later on in Canvas. Take care. Bye-bye.